Hello, everyone. This is Maureen, and welcome back to another day of praying through the darkness. Now, today we're going to talk about joy in comfort. Think about that, joy in comfort. We all know what joy is. I mean, the happiness, the elation of no worries, everything is going great. And we also know what comfort is. Comfort comes when we're going through stressful or anxious or chaotic situations. But today we're going to talk about how we can find and experience that joy in the comfort when we ask for that comfort for those times. But before we get into that, let me say thank you to each and every one of you who come back to listen to ways of fighting depression and anxiety. I want to remind you that my devotionals for this year, 2025, come from this little blue book put out by Broad Street Publishers. I've left a link for you down in the description box so that if you wish to go and have your own copy, you can do so. Just click on it and it'll take you right to it. Now, the verse that we're going to look at with this idea of joy and comfort is found in Psalms 94, verse 19. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. When the anxiety was great within me. Now, we all know anxiety can be brought about by stress, worry, the situations that we find ourselves in, even those situations for our family. And it can create mental turmoil within us. In fact, for many of us, it can just really consume every fiber of our being. So this weakness, the anxiety that is within us, helps us to recognize that this is the reality. I mean, all of us have experienced anxiety or stress at some time, whether it's over a situation, a choice we have to make, something that's going on for a loved one. We all know what that feels like. But our consolation is knowing that God is our comfort. All we have to do is reach out to Him. Now, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but we need to remember that when those moments start building up in us, we need to stop right then and there and go to God. Take it to Him. We shouldn't sit around trying to figure out how we can take care of it or how we can enlist the help of someone else. Now, I'm not saying that those are bad things. They're not. But our very first action should be taking this problem, especially if it's going to wear us down to where we just cannot function. We need to always take it to God first, because through Him comes our comfort, our strength in order to face the situation. So by doing that, we find that God fills us with joy. Now, you may be thinking, okay, so I'm going through this stressful situation. I take it to God and He's going to give me joy because I'm going through this? Yes, because we all know that through these times is when we truly, truly grow in our understanding of God's love and comfort for us. So right there is where the joy lies. The joy lies in the fact that we can take everything to Him. And He's going to help us through it. Remember, I keep telling you, you are never alone in anything in your life. So the joy in the comfort that He gives to us is the fact that He is going to be there every step of the way through it. It shows us that the joy in the comfort arises from the fact that we have acknowledged we can't do this on our own, and that we are calling on Him, which I've got to tell you, and I've told you this more than once, tickles Him to pieces. It really does, because When we go to Him and ask Him for comfort and strength through this, you know what that's telling God? That's telling God that we have faith in knowing that He's going to be there with us. See, there's that little word faith again that continues to pop up in our relationship with God. Faith in knowing that, yes, that problem is not going to go away immediately. But while we're in it, the chaos, the stress, the darkness of it all, God's going to be there. He's going to give us the strength because we have the faith. Number one, we've called on Him. Number two, we're telling Him that we know that we need help and that only by His grace and His guidance are we going to get through this situation. So that's where the joy in the comfort comes from this. True comfort, especially from God, can be found in our source of joy. And this joy is not dependent on whether we really are going through a problem or not, but it coexists with Him. Our problem is God's problem. Our defeat is God's defeat. Our victory is God's victory. And you know why? Because we're not alone. Now, I know many of you may have cringed whenever I said our defeat is God's defeat because nothing defeats God. Let me clarify that for just a moment. Our defeat is when we've broken that trust. When we've stepped back and said, maybe God, you're not moving quite as fast as I'd like to, so I'm going to take the situation back and do it myself. That's where I say the defeat is with God, for God. It's because we, not God, but we have decided we can do it ourselves. So please always remember that joy is not dependent upon the absence of the problem, but it is dependent upon us coexisting, relying on what God can do for us, being patient, and allowing God to work us through the problem. God's presence provides a wonderful consolation for what it is that we go through in life. Consolation being, we're not alone, and He is there with us. So when we look at this verse and the little prayer here in just a minute, joy and comfort provides for us a very powerful, real example that God's comforting presence, when we call on Him, brings us a deep and everlasting joy. Because, as I keep harping on, when we go to our Father, He is always going to be there with us. Thank you, Lord, that I am not left alone to be swept up in my sorrow and my anxieties. In the middle of the chaos and confusion, your Spirit ministers to me with peace and comfort. Your presence is not an idea. It is the tangible experience of your nature. Your comfort covers me like a blanket, and your love fuels me like a stoked fire. May my heart be one with yours in the communion of fellowship with the Spirit. As I invite you to move in my soul, however messy, I find that you simultaneously fill me and make the space that allows you to comfort me. I find the support I desire in you. You always know exactly what I need, even before I do. As you console me, I find that my heart can rest on you. Loving God, you are the support I desperately need. I have looked for consolation elsewhere, but nothing satisfies like you do. Meet me with your presence that floods my mind with peace and my heart with hope, for I rely only on you, my Father. I rely only on you. That is where the joy in the comfort comes from. Thank you so much, each and every one of you that have stopped in for just a few moments today. I hope that this verse and this explanation and this little prayer help to remind you, number one, always seek God first. Number two, wait on His patience, because in the waiting, folks, you're going to be covered in love and comfort and joy in the situation. And finally, it doesn't stop there. God doesn't just come into our lives for a little bit, and then when everything gets to going good again, disappears. No, 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 no. He is there for the good and the bad, so long as we always continuously invite Him in. If this was your first time here, I'm so happy that you made it to this point. All I ask is that you hit that subscribe button down in the corner and look for that cute notification bell that has those little hugs on the side, because it'll let you know every time I upload content. So as a reminder, when the shadows of darkness wish to crowd in around you, remember, you're not alone. Find the joy in the comfort that God has waiting for you. And remember, I love you too. See you tomorrow. Bye.